Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Just a couple of reminders before we begin today. First of all, may I just remind you that everything you need is within you. There is nothing out there more important than what is within you. The kindness, the goodness, the love, and the sustainability of your own internal spirit. You are a blessed child of the divine. Please do not forget that. And then secondly, I keep on encouraging you to spiritualize the holidays. We've had a first good spiritualization on Thanksgiving, and as we proceed forward, bring that best inner spirit with you to the holiday season. We'll be sending you notifications of what we'll be doing on Christmas, New Year's, and hopefully into the new year. And then just a reminder, tonight, if you're able to join us with Eckhart Tolle from 6 to 7:30, The New Earth. Just a wonderful, wonderful study. Please join us if you're able to do so. Let's begin. My dear friends, it is absolutely exciting to see the progress in spirituality that so many of us are making, evidenced by how each one of us is working to usher in the kingdom of God in our lives, how we are bringing light to our world. Regardless of what others might be doing, you are clear about what you are doing. By your love and your kindness, you are bringing heaven to earth. You are bringing awareness to the planet. You are ushering in the kingdom. With this clarity of what we are doing, we are now ready to continue our teachings on ushering in the kingdom of God. Today's teaching is simply entitled, Ushering in the Kingdom of God, Part 3. I will begin with a brief review of Parts 1 and 2, and then focus on completing the 6 steps of daily ushering in the kingdom of God as your personal kingdom. And always understanding that such living makes logical sense, it feels right, and it works every time. Part 1. In Part 1 of Ushering in the Kingdom of God, we focused on the 2 foundational principles of doing so. The first one, you might recall, is that we must have the right disposition to usher in the kingdom of God, which means that we have moved from simply trying to satisfy our personality self to now identifying ourselves as an eternal soul spirit, realizing that the kingdom of God is a presence within us. We have rewired ourselves. Secondly, with this right disposition, we now have the right intention of ushering in the kingdom of God. We clearly realize and intend that we are the creative love of God right here, right now. We are functioning from the inside out, from the kingdom of God within us to the expression of that kingdom in our daily living here on the planet. We realize that our creative love is not only our identity, but we realize that our creative love is the purpose of our journey, that our creative love is what we are doing here in the material realm. We kind of finally have gotten what Jesus taught us in A Course in Miracles when he said, teach only love, for that is what you are. I think we understand that. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Very clear. And then in Part 3, we began with the first of the 2 daily practices of remembering to usher in the kingdom of God here on earth. The first of the 6, first 2, was to begin our day with an affirmation of our intention of doing so. Something like, I will love everyone today. And in so doing, I am ushering in the kingdom of God. And the second of the 6 daily practices that you consider a spiritual meditation and a physical energization of your body as daily components of ushering in the kingdom of God. As I mentioned in my opening statement last week, we are creating a radiant, pure environment for ourselves. We are creating a radiant, pure environment for ourselves. With these first 2 steps already presented, we are now ready for steps 3 to 6, and on a daily basis, ushering in the kingdom of God. Again, you might want to take some notes. Step 3. What I'm going to say now to you is the most important thing in applying the kingdom of God into your daily life. This is the statement. Live your day as a conscious spiritual practice. Say it again. Live your day as a conscious spiritual practice. This idea of living your day as a conscious spiritual practice has these points for you to consider. First, realize the importance of living your day as a conscious spiritual practice. Realize the importance of this. Realize that such living is what you want to do. That life is not anymore just about your limited personality self, but rather your focus is now being on a conscious presence of God in your activities. And of course, as you do so, this is so important, you will see how such spiritual living will raise all of the other aspects of your life, from relationships to personal satisfaction. So important to realize that as you raise your spiritual awareness, you raise everything else. Your spirituality is the rising tide that raises all of the other ships of your life. Secondly, come to realize that living a daily conscious spiritual life is what will expand your spiritual awareness. Listen closely. The more spiritual you are, the more spiritual you are, the more spiritual you will become. And the more spiritual that you become, the greater will be the quality of your life. You understand this? The greater you spiritually become, as you expand your spirituality, you will expand and raise the quality of your life. Why would you not want your best daily spiritual awareness to become your best way of living? The joy of ushering in the kingdom of God for yourself and for others. So important to understand, as you expand your spirituality, you expand the quality for yourself and for others. Thirdly, be creative in ushering in the kingdom of God daily, especially listening to the intuitions. When your intuition says to you, do something, would you please do it? Just do it. Listen to the creativity of your inner voice. It's always going to guide you well. And then lastly, formulate for yourself. Formulate for yourself. Please do this. an affirmation that will keep you tuned in to ushering the kingdom of God throughout the day. When you have a free moment, when you just have a free moment, not doing anything or doing something mindlessly, just say to yourself something like, I am as God created me. Just repeat that. Or, I will continue to love everyone today. Or, I receive such joy in ushering in the kingdom of God. Or as one of our men said yesterday in our study group, every day I say this to myself, I am a child of God, creating the good, the beautiful, and the holy. And I don't forget this. We're doing this. We are doing this. The fourth of our daily 6 practices. You might be saying to yourself, Vince, you make it sound so easy. But life is often bumpy and very complex. It's not as easy as you seem to make it sound. So let me respond by saying that you are right, that life is bumpy and not always easy until it is. We just need to keep making progress. Now, I can hear some of you saying, Vince, it is not that simple and it might never be that easy. So let me suggest some corrective practices to you. Acknowledging the problems we often have to face, from flat tires to arguments with family members to health issues. Please consider the following things. Although the second thing in the statement I think will be more relevant to you, that the first corrective action is also very important as well. The first corrective action I would suggest to you is pretty well stated in these words, with a very, very profound accompanying statement. The first correction is learning to say to yourself, ushering in the kingdom of God is most what I want to do for my benefit and for the benefit of others. You have to start there. Ushering in the kingdom of God is the most important thing I want to do because I know it's for my benefit and certainly for the benefit of others. You have to start with yourself and with that powerful intention of acknowledging and ushering in the kingdom of God, because you know now that ushering in the kingdom of God is the very best thing that you can do for yourself and for those that you love. It's kind of this simple. Why would you not want the best for yourself and for others? When you understand that ushering in the kingdom of God is the best thing for yourself and for others. Plus, it has this accompanying statement. The power of God within me is more powerful than any problem I will face today. We need to hear this again and again, so I'm going to repeat it again and again. The power of God within me is greater than any problem I will face today. One more time. The power of God within me is greater than any problem I will face today. Thus, I suggest that with the intention of being your best and having the power of God to solve our problems, are the preliminaries that we need to clean up the work that still must be done. It's such a very, very important thing for us. Once we have that presence within us, we're now ready to address the second point. Again, using a statement that will probably speak to thee, although you'll want to certainly move beyond it. So the second point, the second correction, is formulated in this brief statement. No whining. No complaining. No whining. While this statement seems a little harsh, no whining, no complaining, it really has such a positive meaning. So let me suggest the following points for your consideration. First, the statement, no whining, no complaining, clearly indicates that you have some cleanup work to do. The cleanup work is easily suggested in these statements. First, is the whining and complaining the way you want to be? Is this the way that you want to go through life? Well, the obvious answer is no, of course not. I don't want to whine and complain. Well, if you don't want to whine and complain endlessly, isn't it clear that you have some work you need to do? That especially, please listen carefully, it's cleanup work that you want to do. It's cleanup work that you want to get over, and you're now ready to get over. Wanting to clean up something is the first step in doing so. None of us want to keep on whining and complaining. Secondly, you clearly understand the statement that problem is a problem until it isn't. A problem is a problem until it isn't. Such a phrase gives you a clear indication that you want to change. You want to change. Who wants the problem to keep on going? Now, there's another statement that works very nicely with this. That statement is, you know better. The problem is a problem until you change it. You know better. You've been down the road of whining and complaining enough. And where has it gotten you? Except more whining and complaining. The whining and complaining just worsens. You know better. You know better than just to whine and complain. So let me now proceed to the second point. The good news about the problem we're whining or complaining about is that it is indicative of some of the more work that we need to do. The problem, and some are very large, indicates an area that we do need to grow in. Such an area could be anything from becoming more patient to dealing with an illness. On such occasions, we do have to deal with the immediate problem at hand. But I do want to suggest that you deal with the immediate problem at hand from the presence within you. Start from within to address the problem. Such a dealing is not always easy at times, but it's what we need to do. Please take the time to consider your inner power as you deal with the immediacy of the problem. And as you do so, dealing with from your inner power, as you deal with the immediacy of the problem, may I suggest to you the following 3 things that will be helpful. First, develop an affirmation that you can use in the midst of the problem. Rather than whining and complaining, develop an affirmation that you can use in the midst of the problem. It might be, as I have mentioned, that the power of God within me is greater than the problem I'm facing. To something as simple as, I know I can do this, or I know better. Such affirmations are invaluable. They keep us focused on the solution rather than looking at the problem. Second suggestion, consider reading or rereading my 10 steps to daily enlightened living. My 10 steps to daily enlightened living, found in the section on additional materials in my 3 books, as well as on cards that we have handed out at times. If either of these are not available to you, please email me and I will send you a copy. The 10 steps to daily enlightened living. And lastly, dealing with the problem. Please remember that any problem, just like any joy, is temporary, and we will eventually move through it. It will eventually subside a lot faster as you make the efforts to deal with it. Truly, some problems are bigger than others, without a doubt. But please, please, always understand that the power within you is greater than what you're facing. Turn to the power, not the problem. There are 2 more daily things that I suggest that are extremely important for us, and we'll move through them rather quickly, but they're important. The 5th of the 6 daily things for daily application in ushering in the kingdom of God that I suggest to you is to say a prayer before your meals. Whether you say a traditional prayer of blessing or simply saying thank you, or just pausing for 5 seconds. It's very nice to move into the feeling of gratitude at least 3 times a day, or how often you eat. It's not the length of the prayer, but the quality of your pausing, where you just recall, oh yes, I'm grateful, and I'm ushering in the kingdom of God. For many years, I've been saying this prayer of blessing with which we conclude our sessions. I am an eternal being of light and love. Thus, only good can come to me, and only good can come from me. Pause to be grateful. And the 6th and last thing I would suggest to you is to conclude your day. Just to conclude your day by simply saying good night to the God presence and quietly resting in its loving peace. As you close your eyes, just remember you're a part of all that is. You are a beloved child of the divine. You've done your best today to usher in the kingdom of God. Nothing more important than that. If you were to meet your maker tomorrow and he said, what'd you do yesterday? You could proudly say, well, I was ushering in your kingdom. Of course. More than likely, you'll wake up tomorrow and have another opportunity of ushering in the kingdom. In conclusion, with today's teaching on the conclusion of the 6 steps, we have completed the first segment of ushering in the kingdom of God. We discussed the disposition to do so, the intention to do so, and now the practices of doing so. May I suggest that there are 2 other segments that are very important, and we'll deal with them in our future teachings. But for now, understand that the first segment always starts with creating for yourself a radiant, pure environment within yourself. This is the first segment, creating a radiant, pure environment where you are desirous of ushering in the kingdom of God. You are rewiring yourself. This is the first big step. It always begins with you, but it doesn't end with you. We have some other things we're going to do. And oh yes, we are rewiring ourselves together. This rewiring is not done just individually, but we are doing it together. Couldn't think of any better way of proceeding. So with today's teaching in mind, let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let's begin as we normally do by just focusing on the breath and never underestimating the importance, just focusing on the breath, just breathing in and breathing out, and allow the breath to do what it does. As you give it your attention, let it settle you. Let it settle your body and reduce your mental chatter and bring you forward. Bring the inner you, your soul, forward. Please begin. Did you notice? Did you notice how easy it was to move into the inner you? As soon as you gently closed your eyes, it's kind of like, well, here I am. Here I am. This is me. This is my conscious soul spirit. There I am, right here. And what I most want to do, I want to usher in the kingdom of God into my life. That's what I most want to do. Because nothing else works as well as being in the loving presence of God to raise the quality of my life, as well as to raise the quality of the lives of the people I love. It's got to be crystal clear to you. And I know that many of you are now saying, it is, Vince. This is crystal clear. As I raise my spirituality, build that connection to the God Spirit, the quality of my life in the life of the people I love expands. Why would we not do this? When it means so much to us? You might also be clear about the importance of developing an affirmation in the midst of your day to sustain your intention. Whatever that affirmation would mean to you, just develop for yourself something that you're just going to carry with you for the day. I am as God created me. I will love everyone today. Just whatever it might be. Allow your affirmation to touch your heart, keep you in its presence. Inasmuch as you desire this ushering in of the kingdom, you will receive the intuitions on how you can creatively express it. Please listen to your intuitions. Don't let them be a good idea that comes and then went. Listen to them. This is how your soul speaks to you. Be creative. Show your love. Don't be afraid. If you find yourself whining or complaining about something, please see it for the positive direction that it will give your life. Only you know what needs cleaned up. If you're in a funk or you just getting a little bit of a tiz, what's causing that? What's causing that? But most of all, focusing on the power within you to deal with it. Bring the power of your inner spirit to the tiz you might be in. Eventually, you have to come to the point, sometime in your life, maybe today, of saying that the power of God within me is greater than the problem I seem to be facing. You know this. So now it's important to come to know this. Just a little pause before you take a bite to eat is all you need, just to be grateful and realize you're part of something bigger. And so, if God were to say to you, what have you been doing today? And then you say this, I've been ushering in our kingdom. Gotcha, didn't I? Not your kingdom. I've been ushering in our kingdom. That will evoke a smile from the divine itself.
I honor thee. I honor thee. light shines bright to illumine love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee. I honor thee. Namaste. I honor thee. When you are where you need to be, within that space, I honor thee. See through eyes, an illusion, seen through spirit, we are one. I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor
May we just continue to realize that the very best thing we can do is to usher in the kingdom of God from that loving place within us. And in so doing, we raise the quality of our lives and the lives of the people we love and share life with. Pretty fun stuff, huh? Namaste, dear ones. Namaste.